I'm here with Beat It era Michael Jackson, Joy Behar herself. Hello, Joy. Welcome behind the table.
So beat it.
Just beat it. Thank you, Joy. Welcome to Behind the Table. You weren't here last week. I heard from the Joy Boys. They were not happy about it. People were...
What happened last week?
I don't know. You weren't on. It's fine. Everyone gets a week off in rotation.
No, there was something. I can't remember.
Well, we had like a 3-day week because of we had Juneteenth, and then we had but only 3 podcasts. I mean, then we aired the Behind the Table celebration podcast instead. Right. So we didn't have it. But Charlene Theron was here today.
Yes.
All right.
So actually, I'm getting texts from gay women. How gorgeous is she?
Oh, really?
In real life. And okay,
she is absolutely
I'm here
stunning.
to say she's a beautiful
girl.
No,
she's absolutely
And she's
stunning.
very tall, very statuesque.
And graceful and just,
lovely and nice.
Elegant. Yeah.
I like her a lot.
Me too.
I might have to go over to the other team for her. And I've only said that about Catherine Deneuve.
Right. She's Gillian Anderson. I feel like you kind of...
I love her too.
Yeah. Those are your
These
three.
are my types. If I was going to be a lesbian, those are my types.
All right. Good to know. Well, she was here today, and she said her movie Mad Max was the hardest thing she's ever done in her career because she had just had her daughter. And it made me think, what's the hardest thing you've ever done in your career? You've had
You mean besides this podcast? Let's say... waiting in. I don't like to make movies because you have to sit in the trailer too long.
Right. You've made movies, you've made TV shows, you've been a talk show host.
Yeah.
Is that the worst, making movies?
No, the hardest of all of those is stand-up comedy, without a question.
Right.
Oh my God, yeah, that's the hardest one to do because you're naked, everyone's dressed. That's how it feels. I've said this before.
It's like your dressing room when I come in the morning.
Boom.
So speaking of stand-up comedy, we had Jay Farrow with us yesterday, and he started doing stand-up at 15 years old.
Yeah.
You said you were so impressed that he had confidence so young. When did you get your confidence?
Well, I had confidence when I was young in front of my family.
Right.
But when you have, and I always thought that I'm really good at this when I was a kid because I had Uncle Dickie and Aunt Sulie and Aunt Sadie and the rest of them cheering me on.
Yes.
And then when I got into the real world and tried to do it on stage, they don't just laugh at you because you're their niece.
No.
They want to hear some material.
That's a rude awakening, I'm sure, the first time. Have you ever, everyone bombs. I know that happens. Is there one day that sticks out to you? Is there one really bad show?
One time I did a show and I always was very popular with the Jewish crowd. I just do country clubs and they love it. And I have material about Jewish people and Italian people because that's my background.
Right.
But one time the rabbi and his wife were in the audience. And all I did was I said, so you two have married how long? Oh, we're married 25, 30. I said, that's enough. A hush fell over the dais.
Ooh.
They did not like that. They thought that was rude and nasty. And then I did a couple of other jokes that they found offensive all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And I had done these things a million times in front of Jewish audiences. And they wanted their money back.
Oh, really? Did you give it?
No, my booker said, what are you, crazy? You're not getting your money back. They booked me.
Right.
And they knew what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the people who were there. It was this rabbi.
You bring Joy Behar on, you know what you're getting.
But then I also did a job at the Villa Roma one time, and I bombed up there, too, with the Italians.
Really?
Mostly, my success rate with Italians and Jews, 95 to 98% success.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks once said to me, I hate to drop his name, but I did have a couple of interactions with him, and I was really nervous about doing something. He said, Joy, don't worry about anybody but the Italians and the Jews.
Well, there you go, and they're your people.
I took that seriously. But I have to say, I was very scared because they booked me in Lima, Ohio one time. Mm-hmm. That's where Phyllis Diller was born.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know
that. And I thought, the Midwest, I'm so ethnic, what are they going to... Killed. In Lima. It all depends on the audience and how great they are.
Right.
They're interested in laughing, having fun with you, they're good.
But isn't it interesting how the material, same material, different outfit, different crowd?
The other thing that stand-ups do, and we used to do this in New York, you'd go from the Improv over to Catch a Rising Star, then you'd go downtown to Green Street, you'd go to this other club, Folk City. You'd do the same material in each place, different audiences, and be completely different every time.
How important is a good audience to you on this show?
You mean the live audience?
Yeah, how important is...
Well, to me, it's important because I like to get a laugh. Yeah. It's not only do I have to be smart, I also have to be funny on the show.
I know.
I have a double thing on me.
You do. You do.
And what if I'm not?
Then the show isn't as good. I think that's true. I think if you're not funny... I mean, I will say, because you get serious a lot, too. Yeah. And you get emotional about things, that sometimes I do hear the comment, I miss when she's funny, because you're like... yesterday we were talking about the war... and you were somber.
I was.
Well, we were funny later in the show.
Well, people die in wars.
No, of
There's
course.
no reason to be funny.
That's the hard thing
that.
about the show. You have to do so many different things.
Yeah.
But I noticed when we did, during COVID, we had to go for a very long time without an audience. And it really changed the show. And I didn't realize how much so until we brought the audience back.
You need a live audience.
You guys really feed off a good audience.
Every one of us does, even the ones who are not comedians, which
absolutely.
is all of them,
And I see there can be a bad morning, and when the music starts and we walk out and the audience is particularly good, you guys all light up, and it's a whole different experience.
But the audiences come to see us. They really do like us.
They do.
So that helps.
No, definitely. It's a comfortable crowd. All right, so I saw you were a big fan of The Bear today. We also had
I thought that
Maddie
was
Matheson.
At first, I thought The Bear was a show about big gay guys.
Different kind of bear. Different kind of bear. You had him do a video, though, at the end, I saw.
For my grandson.
Oh, for Luca.
Luca loves the bear. He loves the bear. And I sent it to him already, and he wrote back, "Thank you so much."
Look at that. How cool are you?
I know. I'm do anything to make that kid like me.
I know. I'm the same way. Believe me. I got my daughters.
I will buy him off.
Oh, I mean, I
hand him money.
You don't have to worry about spoiling it because it's your grandkid, and you're supposed to spoil the grandkid.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
I've brought my daughter in one time to meet one person on this show, and it was Kit Connor, who was someone you probably don't remember, and but he's a big young actor that she absolutely adores and loves.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest moment. She was so happy.
We get points.
I got points. I'm cool. But now, every time, she's like, so who's coming up on the show? She wants to come back. I'm being very discerning.
Well,
with
he
it. I'm
likes
not
me
letting
to
it happen.
send him the rundown of who's coming on the show.
But he never comes on himself. He just wants you to get an autograph or something?
Yeah,
or?
he doesn't want to come on. He wants the book
Yeah.
signed
I
or
don't,
whatever.
I don't blame him.
But this video, and he used an expletive like Trump did today.
Yeah.
He used an expletive in the video that I'm sending to my grandson.
For your 13-year-old grandson.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He's 14.
He's heard it all before.
I know. I figured that, yeah.
You're his grandmother. He's heard it all before.
Yeah. When he was a kid, he used to, use the language. I told you this already. Can
I don't think
say
so.
it on?
Yeah, let's try it and see what happens.
He was on a video game one time, and they're always you can't really play sometimes. You have to put your credit card.
Yeah.
He was like 5 years old, and he said these people are always looking for money.
He's not wrong. He's insightful, even as he's.
But then he went to school and he used the F word, and they called
that's not
my
good.
daughter, and the kid said, "Well, Nana says it. I got the blame."
He's not wrong.
This business with Trump using the F word
Yes.
today. So what? That's the least of his sins.
No,
the
I know.
Least.
I know.
Who cares?
All right, let's go. Back to Charlize Theron for a moment.
Yeah.
She said that she's determined to raise her daughters with an understanding that nothing is given to you. This kind of works back to what we were talking about, and that you have to work hard for everything.
And she's really she got the genetic lottery. She won that.
She looks great. Are you trying to do that with Luca? Do you worry about spoiling him? Do you worry about your daughter spoiling him?
Because he's my grandson. That's not on me. That's his mother's problem.
Yeah.
And his father.
How old were you when you got your first job? Do you remember?
I was 15.
What did you do?
There was a thing called Kresge's 5 and 10 on Fifth Avenue. And I worked there, and they gave you a discount, so I spent my whole salary buying stuff.
Oh, really?
Also, you know what they did? They put me, there are things you don't forget in life.
Yeah.
Short-term memory loss is when you forget what you just said 2 minutes ago. But long-term is something that everybody has. Even people who have Alzheimer's, I think, remember this stuff from years ago. Mm-hmm.
They just don't know when it happened last. All right.
But they had me do, you know those plates? They're like embossed plates that are made out of tin or silver or something.
Yeah.
They'd have a whole wall full of them. Mm-hmm. And some customer would say, "Can you get that one?" And I got it, and the whole thing fell on top of me.
Did you leave that job of your own volition, or were you fired?
Well, I was a kid. I was in school.
Yeah.
I just did it for the summer.
I got my first job when I was 14. I worked in a movie theater. I was an usher.
That's a good job.
It was a great job for me. In fact, the only jobs I ever had before working in television were working in movie theaters.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why I have all this ridiculous knowledge of movies. Every movie that came out between 1991 and 1994, I saw 100 times.
Oh.
Including many starring Whoopi Goldberg, which has been helpful.
You should have learned how to maybe write a film by that.
You would think so, but instead I'm here. But I ended up getting fired from the first movie theater because I was stealing nachos from the concession stand, which was not good. Yeah.
Why were you doing that?
I was hungry. Yeah.
That doesn't count. That's not a good,
No, and I was
defense.
dating a girl who worked behind the concession stand too, and that was the end of the relationship.
Why? Because you were caught.
I think she turned me in.
stealing.
I think she turned me in.
She turned you in.
I think she did.
And now you marry your wife would do that too.
Oh, my wife
she?
would turn me in on a dime. All right. Now, I'm curious about this because I do have young kids. They have so many activities. They're not going to get a job anytime soon because they're doing all these things.
No, Luca's looking for a job.
He is.
I think he could be a waiter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he loves restaurant food.
That's great.
That's why the Bear appeals to him.
Would he want to be a chef someday, you think?
I don't know. He might. He might want to own a restaurant.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Were you pushed to get your first job, or did you just look to do it?
No.
You wanted money.
No one had money.
Right.
My father gambled all the money.
Mm-hmm.
My mother worked, and I saw that there was no money for me. So I better
So you
get
went
a
out
job.
on your own.
I got a job.
Yeah, that's smart. All right, let's talk more celebrity news because I know you love celebrity news. Jennifer Aniston revealed recently that even after all of her success with Friends and The Morning Show and a bunch of other shows you haven't watched, her bucket list career is to do a Broadway play.
Oh, good. Maybe she'll be in one of my plays.
Maybe she'll do one of yours. But I was thinking about this.
I don't write for Broadway. I write for off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway.
Yeah.
You write the play, and the play ends up where it does.
No,
where it
but
belongs.
Broadway is a whole other thing.
It's bigger and
It's too big.
Yeah.
I like a smaller.
Well, my question is, are there anything left on a bucket list for you? Because you've been doing this playwriting. Is there something else? You've had a very...
You know what? A lot of times I take pictures. Like yesterday, I took a picture of Derek, one of the hair guys, because he was dressed so cute, and he's adorable too.
Yeah.
I took a picture of him, and I have a whole bunch of them on my phone.
Your phone, yeah.
Of things that catch my eye. Because I'm going to go back to painting again. Because I used to do watercolors.
Mm-hmm. And paper mache puppets.
And paper mache puppets. Yes. I enjoy arts. My daughter's a ceramics artist, and I like all art forms.
I like that. It's funny, you referenced the paper mache puppets in the Barbara Walters documentary.
Did I?
Yes. You were discussing how Barbara didn't have any hobbies. It's not like she was making paper mache puppets.
That's it.
And because I know you so well, I knew what you were referring to.
I used to make, I made a puppet of my Aunt Rose, right? So then I had a mink collar that I got from my mother. I put it on her like a little stole. I made her hair like hers, and I stuck a stick up her thing.
Have you ever done it on the show? Have we ever had a segment with Joy Makes Paper Mache Puppets? Because I think we should.
No, we don't do that anymore on this show.
I know, but I think we should bring it back. I think we should do one segment of you making puppets for somebody. We'll work it out.
No.
You can make puppets of the hosts, and you can act out. You can act out their roles.
I could do Sunny. She has the hair that would be.
Yeah.
You'd use. What could you use? You know what you would use? That kind of ribbon that you put on the Christmas gifts where you do the thing and then it curls. Mm-hmm. You could have a whole head of her like that.
All right. Here's what I'm going to suggest. Instead of doing that, for each host's birthday, we make a fuss out of their birthdays every year.
Yeah.
Make each one a paper mache puppet of themselves.
This is a lot of work for me.
All right, fine. It's either that or lasagna.
I told you, only Whoopi gets the lasagna.
I know.
I'm going to take out to dinner because you gave me so much about not giving you a Christmas gift.
Yes, we're going out in a couple
weeks.
I'm
taking you to dinner.
I'm excited about that. Yes. You also owe me dinner for when I drank the $100 bill that was in the Magic Act. You owe it for that. So it's a combo thing we're doing there. All right. There's a new movie out, and this is what we teased on the show today, this topic. There's a new movie out with Dakota Johnson. She was in 50 Shades of Grey in those movies. Yeah. It's also got Pedro Pascal, who's a movie star heartthrob. Chris Evans, another movie star heartthrob. It's called The Materialists. And in this movie, Dakota's character is torn between spending her life with a guy that she might not be that compatible with, but he makes a lot of money, and she'd have a great life.
Is she sexually attracted to him?
It's Chris Evans, so I'm going to say yes.
So, yeah.
And the other guy, it's Pedro Pascal, so I'm still going to say yes. The other guy she's in love with, but he has no money, and he's a struggling actor. Now, if you were faced with this decision...
There's no discussion here. She's sexually attracted to Pascal, plus he has money.
Right, but she's not connecting with him in the same way, not madly in love the way she is with the Chris
Go for
Evans.
the money.
Go for the money. So that's interesting. So I would think...
You noticed that I asked you if she was attracted to him.
Yes.
Because that is key.
Okay.
If she wasn't attracted to him, I would say no. But, if she's attracted to the guy and he has all this cash, why would you go for the guy who can't even get a job?
Because love means something, or doesn't it?
Because in the beginning it's
fades.
lust. It's all lust anyway.
Right.
So, but she doesn't have anything in common with the guy with the money?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Oh. Well.
Something. I'm getting told by the control room they have something in common, a little bit of common, but they don't have the deep connection that she has with the struggling actor.
The deep connection goes away.
You think so? Okay,
I always
so
talk about this on the show. I've talked about it. I've quoted the great anthropologist Helen
Would you have
Fisher.
told your daughter, go for the guy with the money instead of the guy you truly love?
I would never tell her what to do.
If she asked you for advice.
I would say personally,
Yes.
I would go for the guy with the money.
Yeah.
Because I've been on this planet longer than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what happens after the sexual thing starts to get, not as fascinating and you're not running towards each other in slow motion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be comfortable and happy in your life. And if the guy's a loser and can't get a job, then why would you?
Wouldn't you worry
that
about
starts fights.
Well, what about maybe you just get your own job and you don't have to worry about it?
Well, that's what I did.
I know.
I mean, when I got married the first time, it was like me and him alone in the world. We had nobody had money.
Me too.
We were kids.
Yeah.
But but no rich guy was asking me to marry him.
Right. I didn't think about money then. I didn't think about marrying
When
money.
you're young, you don't.
Yeah.
But I believe in making my own money, which I do. I always did.
Now, how would the 30-year-old version of yourself answer this question? Do you think
the 30-year-old
Yeah.
or the 22-year-old?
22-year-old, I guess, from your
The
case.
22-year-old would probably say, "I'm in love with this one, and we're going to go for it, and we'll both get a job." As long as he's 22. If he's 42, no.
In the movie, he's in his 30s.
And she's how old?
Same, a little younger.
Oh, a guy in his 30s who doesn't have a job yet?
He's like a struggling actor. He has a dream.
Yeah.
And he looks like Chris Evans. I mean, he's got a shot.
Everybody gets older and loses their looks.
I suppose.
Men get old and girls get cold, or however that goes.
All right. We have a question from a listener.
Alyssa.
A listener.
Or a listener.
Not Alyssa. My friend and I watched your play on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
She had recently broken up with her boyfriend. Thank you for the much-needed laughs. What advice would you give someone who is going through a heartbreak?
Go see my plays.
Go see your plays. Go see Joy Behar's plays.
A heartbreak is terrible. We've all been there. Everybody knows how that feels. And it's never going to get better until you meet another guy.
Have you had that? Like, have you had like the in bed for months kind of heartbreak?
No, but I would cry a little. I had cried a little, and I felt bad. I felt bad because it's a big wrenching, especially after a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty of it is that you do get over it, and you go on to something even better.
Yes. Hopefully.
You do.
Yeah. There was a New York Times story about screen protectors ruining the fun of snooping on other people's phones. So basically, people have a device now where you can kind of keep people from looking over and seeing what you're doing. Do you ever look at the stranger's phone or a co-host's phone when they're on the table next to you to see what they're doing?
No.
No? I asked this partly because in the Hot Topics meeting, I will occasionally look over to your screen.
Oh, you're the one.
To see, well, because you're generally playing a crossword. Or Scrabble.
I'm very addicted to games. I love Scrabble and I love the New York Times crossword puzzle.
You don't do Wordle or Connections or any of those? I think you'd like those if you tried them.
I don't want to.
Okay, fine. You're very impressive on the crossword, I will say. I come by and I see how much you've got, and it's very good.
I've been doing it since I'm 15.
Yeah, but it's hard. Before we go,
the
wedding that you've been talking about for a month is finally this weekend.
Okay.
What did you decide to wear?
Well, I have 3 things that I haven't decided on. On the weekend show, which we will see on the weekend, we're going to ask the audience to vote.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to go with it, even if they vote. I have to eventually pick it.
Yes.
But I'm going to have the girls at the table vote, and the audience could vote.
This is very exciting. So if you needed another reason to watch the Weekend View, you can watch it here.
Right.
And for those who don't know, it's on ABC News Live, which you can find on Disney Plus and Hulu and anywhere you stream.
I mean, the thing of the wedding is that it's this coming Saturday.
Yes.
And so I have to get the thing together.
Right.
And I've been talking about it for weeks, and everyone's sick of me.
And the problem is they want you to wear.
I saw the bride recently, who's been married 5 times. I said, this is number 5. She said, well, actually 6.
Wow.
She said, but I haven't been married for the last 25 years, so she forgot about the other ones.
Okay.
In her invitation, she said something flowy. And I thought it said flowery.
Oh, so it was the whole thing was a miscommunication.
Well, I'm still not wearing anything flowy. I don't wear flowy.
But you can wear black and flowy if you want to now. That's
but
better.
I don't wear flowy. I'm wearing black pants.
All right.
Or I have this other pair of pants from Etro. Where do you see the outfits?
I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you get a gift for the 6th wedding?
You know what? She's very, very, very wealthy, and her husband-to-be is a billionaire.
Oh, okay.
So do you get that? What do you get somebody like that?
Like a gift card? No, I don't know.
A gift card to what?
I'm just kidding. Did she
Home
register?
Depot?
Did she register?
No.
No? Did you check?
No, but she's not registered.
All right.
No. I mean, maybe I'll make a donation to a charity.
That's always a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I remember Anna Navarro was annoyed that either you didn't get her a gift or she didn't send you a thank you note.
I got her the gift. She never thanked me.
Right.
When I was growing up, you sent a thank you note with your picture and the groom to everybody who gave you a gift.
That's
she
true.
said nothing.
Nothing.
I don't even care anymore. But now that you brought it up, you see, I could get excited about it.
All right. Well, good to know. And we know Anna's listening.
I've been trained by Barbara Walters.
Yes.
Barbara always wanted a handwritten note. None of this email business. You had to handwrite it. And so I have a collection of Barbara Walters thanking me for things.
I have some from David Letterman. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still alive, but still, it's nice.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you again for joining me today. Joy, tomorrow, Sarah will be taking over the podcast with not me, but ABC News medical correspondent, Dr. Darian Sutton.
What do you mean? You're not going to be in it?
No, my daughter's graduating tomorrow, and I'm going to her graduation.
Oh,
I'm
so
not gonna
Sarah's
be here.
doing this.
Sarah's going to do it.
She's interviewing who?
Dr. Sutton, who's one of the ABC medical experts. He's our medical correspondent, and he will take medical questions, which is interesting.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. So enjoy, and I'll be back with you on Thursday. See you then.